Hello, everybody. Welcome to another video for Deeper Than the Headlines. In this series of videos, we try to dive a little bit deeper than those regular headlines that we see about enforcement cases. This means that we typically will look up the complaint or the charges in any court records that are available. And we try to dig a little bit deeper just to try to find a little bit more information about what might have been going on. So the case I want to share with you today has to do with a 75-year-old New York physician. He pleaded guilty in federal court for receiving kickbacks to order medically unnecessary brain scans. So this doctor was an internist who practiced for 47 years and conspired with a person who worked for a mobile medical diagnostics company. And this company performed transcranial Doppler ultrasounds. And what's interesting in this case is that the charging documents refer to the LCD for this region. So, transcranial Doppler ultrasounds are used to assess the vessels in the brain, blood vessels in the brain. And this LCD that existed for this region only had like 8 or 9 diagnosis codes that would allow or that would be considered medically necessary. And so what happened here, excuse me, is that the doctor was given about $100 per test. So every transcranial Doppler ultrasound that he ordered, he would be given about $100. And the deal was that he would document a false diagnosis code. So of course, for these claims to be paid by Medicare, you have to have a diagnosis code that is on the LCD. Otherwise, when the claim processes, the claim would be kicked out. So using those diagnosis codes, but the patient didn't really have those conditions. So interesting, as I read through some of the court records, they totaled the total payments or kickbacks to this one doctor was about $48,000. And it resulted in about $900,000 in fraudulent bills that were submitted. And one of the things that I found interesting is they talk in the court records about how cash kickback payments were given, so how the money was actually given. And they shared one of the text messages that was sent from the person who worked for the medical diagnostics company to the doctor, informing the doctor's office saying, quote, that the doctor should, quote, write TCD, that's the transcranial Doppler ultrasounds, for migraines and headaches, which is transient cerebral ischemia, on the exam request. Also, SSR for all diabetics. They have the same value as a carotid, 93 versus 140 last month. So it's just interesting how, emails and texts and other things are often used to demonstrate, right, that there was a intent here to pay kickbacks. As we've talked about in other videos, we've seen, at least anecdotally, that the enforcement against the actual receiver of the kickback is also being subject to enforcement. Historically, what we've seen, 10, 20 years ago, it was predominantly, at least in the press releases that were released, predominantly the company or the entity that was giving the kickback or offering the kickback. And we're seeing a whole lot more charges and enforcement against those who take the kickback or ask for a kickback. So we will include a link to the press release on this case, and you can read it. Hope you find it interesting. And until next time, take care.